Hello and welcome to another video from My Random Hobbies, and today we're going to be talking about the basics of your home plumbing. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we get started, it's important to understand that plumbing and fiddling around with any sort of plumbing in your household can result in some severe damage. Water is tremendous at getting in places you wouldn't think anything can get to, and it can cause an awful lot of damage. So I'm not endorsing people to go out there and start messing around with their plumbing. I'm really just in this video trying to explain perhaps some of the basics of some of the things that are in your home so that perhaps you understand what's going on. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is your radiators. Now, your radiators, if they're plumbed in, and they're not electric radiators of course, they have water coming in, goes through the system and sort of coming out and going on to the next radiator within the system, and that's all held under pressure. Now, the radiator valves look something like this, and you'll see them usually on both ends. One might be just have like a cover on here, and it doesn't look like it does anything at all, and the other one, similar to this, will have sort of a grip, a handle to turn, and perhaps some sort of way of indicating whether it's going to get hotter or colder. And in this particular case, I don't know if that's going to pick up or not, it's basically got a plus and a minus, and depending on which way you turn it, it's going to get hotter or colder. So what's really happening? Well, how does it get hot or cold? So as I've said, the water is under pressure and it's already filled. Your radiator is filled with water, and we have water coming up to the pipe here. There's water going out the other side. So really what we've got here is hot water coming from your hot water tank. So the water's being heated in the tank and it's coming through to your central heating system. If you want the radiator to be warmer, you would need to turn it up. Now, inside, and we should be able to get a look at this, you can see right in the middle there that there's some sort of barrier, if you like. It's basically a plunge. If you think of it as like a plunge, it's stopping the water from coming in and through, so the hot water can't flow through. And then obviously, as we turn it to add more hot water to turn up the heat, you can see it's starting to move away, which allows the water to flow into the system and then through here into your radiator. So that's what makes it hotter, and obviously the hotter we make it, the further back that goes, therefore allowing more of that hot water through into your system, so your radiator can get hotter. So that's really all it is. And actually, even the end where you can see it closing up. So now that is closed, the valve is closed, so that shouldn't get hot. And the other end, where there's usually just a little cap or something, does exactly the same thing. So actually you could have a situation where you think you're sort of the water's flowing through the system and it's not, it's been stopped at either end potentially. So it's worth knowing. So that's the radiator valve, and that's how that works, so to allow water through into your radiator. Similarly, the same thing's happening with your taps. Okay, so inside your tap you have again a similar sort of thing to plunge down and open up your tap. So depending on which way you turn it, depends on whether it's you're opening or closing that valve. So what we've got inside is something that looks like this little cartridge there. This little screw is to secure this to the tap head, so the bit that you actually hold on to, and then around the edge here, I don't know if you can see that, there's little grooves. It's not going to pick it up, I don't think. Little grooves all around the edge, and that slots into your tap head as well. And you've got to be careful when you buy these things. They're not universal, and those little grooves are different for each type of head, tap head you've got and things. So you can't just go out and buy a replacement and hope that it fits and works. And often what you end up maybe doing is buying a whole tap system, if you like. So what we've got again is basically a plunge to allow water to flow and not flow. And you should see that as I'm turning this, that's extending that plunge and pushing it down. Then obviously if I want the water to flow, I'm going to retract that, and obviously the more I retract it, the faster the water is going to flow. And you'll see on the end there's a little rubber washer which will keep that water tight in. There's also another little rubber washer there, so that when that water is flowing, it's not going to push up through and out the sides of your tap and cause water damage elsewhere. So again, it's a relatively simple process of sort of basically blocking the water and then releasing to allow the water to flow through. Simple, but as I say, get it wrong and water damage can be terrible. So if you're in any doubt whatsoever, always get a plumber in. Yes, they might be expensive, but actually they're worth it. They're gonna, they've got their sort of insurances and they know what they're doing far more than you ever will probably. So get it done properly by someone. And the final thing I want to talk to you about very quickly is your toilet. Okay, how a toilet flushes. And an awful lot of toilets nowadays are these push buttons toilets with the sort of different buttons for the different amount of water that you can use. But essentially, even with the handle ones, they're kind of doing the same thing. So what you've got here, you've got to use your imagination here. This is in the base of your toilet and has been attached to the pipe work that goes from the back bit of your toilet, your cistern, and flows through into your toilet to flush it. So there's water comes through here to flush, and that gets attached securely into the bottom. And again, you'll see this massive rubber washer keeping the water inside the toilet and not flowing all over the place inside the cistern. And very simply, you'll see here the mechanism that stops the water from flowing through. And again, this is down to water pressure and the amount of water that will sort of automatically be pushed down by weight of water. But when you push the button, you can see that it releases that and allows the water to flow from your cistern down into the toilet. Now again, you've maybe seen it before, you've done it before at home where you've done a quick flush and nothing's really happened because the water hasn't had a chance to start flowing and keeping that up. So obviously once the water starts flowing, it's going to hold that up until such a time that the pressure drops, so the water level drops, and then that can drop back down, seal it up, and then the water tank can start filling again. It's a clever little system how these sort of things work. They all work on a similar principle, but again, if you didn't know that that's what's happening, then at least you now sort of have a basic understanding of it. So as I say, you don't want to be messing too much with water, but it is sometimes interesting to know what's going on. So I hope you found that interesting. I am going to do a similar video on household electrics. Again, I'm not recommending that you do these household electrics yourself, but understanding what's going on in your house might be quite interesting to some of you, especially when you're getting people in and you don't really know what they're talking about. It's always good to have just a little bit of knowledge so that you can sort of understand the processes that are going on. Okay, well, please like, please subscribe, please do comment below, and I will see you again soon for another video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.